Welcome, welcome, welcome to Hillman Talks University Tax Lien and Tax Deed Investing 101, Reclaiming Government Systems to Build Generational Wealth. I am your professor, Antoinette Apollon. I do have to note this is not an official course from Hillman Talk, so that's why I have In the Spirit of Hillman Talk. I didn't quite make it for the spring semester, so let's hope that we get in for the or for the summer semester rather. But this is week one of Tax Lien and Tax Deed Investing 101. Today, we're going to be discussing the introduction to tax lien and tax deed investing. We will be covering understanding tax defaulted properties, the difference between tax liens and tax deeds, and the generational wealth mindset. Okay, so who is this for? This is for people who want to invest in real estate, anyone who has the desire to leave a legacy. It is for investors who are looking to diversify, for investors who are seeking guidance, and for community-oriented investors. Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty, I do want to ask you guys, if you are not currently subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and if you want to join the community discussions after, please click the link below and join Red Lotus Prep, which is my free community. Okay, class discussions will take place in the free community. Okay, so we'll get into it. Here is a map of the United States. Now, the tax lien, tax deed process, the tax sale process is state mandated. Every state has a state statute by which they dictate whether or not they will collect defaulted taxes in the form of tax liens, tax deeds, or redeemable deeds. Okay, so this isn't something that's new. This is hundreds of years old. It's as old as the United States. And as you can see, there are some tax deed states, which are red, tax lien states, which are green, redeemable deed states, which are yellow, and then hybrid states. Which are blue. I'm in Florida. Florida is a hybrid state. So you can see you have plenty of options to choose from. And based off of your particular investment strategy, style, or your goals for the future, you can choose a state that best suits those needs. Okay. So, actually, before we get into this, I'm going to skip ahead because I want to give you guys some definitions and then you'll understand that chart a little better. Tax deeds and tax liens differ in the rights that they provide the investor. Tax deeds don't imply any type of property ownership rights. Lien holders maintain the right to initiate foreclosure if the terms of the lien are not met, but they don't provide ownership, liability, or rights until foreclosure is complete. This is a really big thing because online I hear people get a little confused about the rights that they have or about just what it means if they buy a tax lien certificate or a tax deed. Like I'll hear somebody say, I just bought this property, when really they bought the tax lien certificate. And in fact, they don't own the property. They just have a lien position and rights to foreclose if the terms of the lien is not met. Okay, so when purchasing tax deeds, you're purchasing parcels of land or the property outright with no redemption period. There's an asterisk there because this can vary by state. Or interest paid. Okay, so usually whatever you pay for the deed is usually by the time it gets to a deed, you're paying everything that is past due on the deed, and you don't gain any interest on purchasing a deed because you are in fact getting the property. Tax deed states have the same objectives as tax lien states, but tax deed states just may not sell liens annually. There's an asterisk there because, of course, this can vary by state. And instead of selling tax liens, some tax deed counties will wait for the redemption period to pass, meaning they'll wait for whatever their period is to pass for the taxes to be paid, and then they just foreclose on the property. So that's just a little bit about the differences between tax liens and tax deeds. And then just to clarify what a deed is, in a nutshell, a deed is the legal document that is signed and delivered to the county that actually transfers the property and the legal rights. There are different types of deeds. You can have a warranty deed, you can have a special warranty deed, you can have a shares deed, but the deeds, you can have different types of deeds. So a tax deed is literally the legal document that grants ownership of a property after the owner fails to pay the associated property taxes. Okay, so just to clarify that, a tax deed is not the same thing as a warranty deed. You do have a cloud on the title when you buy a tax deed. However, you do have ownership. We will get into more specifics later. If you're confused about that, please ask in the community and I can clarify it for you. So in a nutshell, I have this diagram about tax liens, tax deeds, and redeemable deeds. Does a tax deed allow you to take ownership? Does a tax deed allow you to take ownership? Yes. Does a tax lien certificate allow you to take ownership? Sometimes, but not all the times. As a matter of fact, 95% of the times you won't gain ownership, because 95% of the times that property will be redeemed, meaning the owner will come back and pay their back taxes. Does a redeemable deed allow you to take ownership? Yes, it is still redeemable though. Whatever the state statutes say, the amount of time that is allowed, that is the amount of time that that deed can be redeemed in, okay? For tax lien certificates, can it be redeemed? Absolutely. Matter of fact, 95% of the times it can be redeemed. Can tax deeds be redeemed? Sometimes. There's an asterisk here because most of the times, by the time it gets to a tax deed, it can't be redeemed, but there are some states that have specific state laws about upset periods. So that's why it says sometimes. We will get into state laws and clarifying how to find out what the rules are for what states in the future, okay? But just this is just to give you that foundation. For redeemable deeds, can it be redeemed? Absolutely, it's in the name. Does it grow your money by percentage? For tax lien certificates, yes. For tax deeds, no, it does not. For redeemable deeds, there should be an asterisk here. It could be sometimes, because some redeemable deed states actually have very high, what we call penalty rates. So it can grow your money by a percentage if you're strategic in the type of properties that you are acquiring. Okay, so that's just to give you a foundation of tax liens, tax deeds, and redeemable deeds, what they are. Don't worry if you don't quite get it yet. You can absolutely talk. We could talk about it in the community and discussions, but I just wanted to clarify. Tax lien certificates do not grant you ownership rights right away, but tax deeds do. Okay. In general, tax lien certificates are a little cheaper to acquire. Tax deeds are a little bit more expensive to acquire. It just depends on the state and the market. Okay, so we discussed what is a deed and the legal ramifications. So now I want to get into the generational wealth mindset and how you can succeed with this type of real estate investing. So there are 4 ways you can play this game. You can play it to win, you can play it not to lose, you can pretend to play, or you could just not play it at all. Okay, so those are your 4 ways to play. But I'm going to tell you one thing. If you are in the game and you're actually playing, there is no way for you to avoid getting bumps, bruises, nicks, or getting knocked down, because guess what? You're in the game. Okay. So if you're in the game, I would highly suggest you play it to win and be all in. Okay. If you're playing not to lose, that means you're playing scared. If you're pretending to play, you basically are just talking. You're giving lip service. And if you're not playing, we all know what that means. You've learned the strategy and haven't taken any steps towards actually acquiring actually acquiring the property. So in this entire thing, what I want you guys to do is to trust the process. This is not a get rich quick scheme, but this is something that can absolutely grow your portfolio, because it is a skill set that allows you to find properties that are beneath market value. Okay. The thing that's going to help you when things get difficult, when things get tough, is your why. So you need to understand why you're doing this in the first place. And it needs to be on your wall and in the front of you, so that whenever you come across hard times, you can look at this and it can keep you going and it can keep you motivated. So one of my favorite quotes from Michelle Obama: don't be afraid, be focused, be determined, be hopeful, and be empowered. So with that, I'm going to give you guys your homework for week 1. Your homework for week 1 is to write your why. So you're going to go into the community chat and post your why. And then also your next step is going to be to find out how your tax sales are conducted. Wherever you want to invest, I want you to go to Google and find out how, when, where they host their sales, and post it in the chat. If you're having any difficulties, also post that in the chat. But this has been week 1 of tax lien and tax deed investing. Next week, we're going to be going over some due diligence. If you would like to get the syllabus, just click the link below. I have it linked. You can grab the syllabus and you can follow along. This will be a 12-week series. So again, remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join the free community. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for